I will teach you a very simple strategy that you can use to reduce the amount of mistakes that you make, and that will help you to win more games. You can play this with any opening, but I will be demonstrating this here in a game against a 2200 rated chessbot. So the first part of the strategy is that we want to think about over protection. So we want to protect everything as much as we possibly can, even if it doesn't look like it's really necessary. For example, this pawn is under attack. It is already protected by the queen, but I will still play pawn to c6 to protect it once more. They are attacking it with the knight. I will play pawn to e6 so I can protect it once more. That is the basis for this theory. In the beginning, we just want to protect everything as much as we can. And of course, whenever we develop a piece, we also want to develop it to a square where it will be protected. And the big benefit from thinking like this during your chess game is that you basically eliminate the opportunity for yourself to make any mistakes, because your pieces will always be safe and you won't simply miss a very obvious tactic. So that can reduce the amount of mistakes that you make. Here we don't really have to do anything spectacular. I think we are just going to develop. So I will develop this, also protect my knight. I will castle, and let's see what they are doing. Okay. Now we have somewhat come to a position where, of course, we will need to start doing something. We can't just keep protecting and wait, basically. We need to do something. So the first thing we need to do is we need to develop pieces. And right now I think we have two plans. We can either play knight to d7, or we can think about developing the bishop. But developing the bishop, we would have to push this pawn at some point, which right now would of course be a blunder. So we should either maybe prepare that with the knight, but it's still not really obvious. Like, yeah, this bishop will be stuck here for quite a while. So I think we will have to develop the bishop here, which makes a lot of sense. And it's easy to find this plan if you just realize that we have to develop our bishop anyways, and we can move it here. Also, by the way, this protects both this pawn and this pawn. So you can see how everything is basically working together, and we are in a super safe position. And what we need to do is every time our opponent makes a move, we need to think, what was their piece doing previously? It was protecting this pawn. What is their piece doing now? It is protecting our pawn in the center. Attacking our pawn in the center, of course. So that means there is some tension here, so we might need to calculate something. Probably the easiest way to solve this will be to just capture this pawn. We don't need to capture this, but capturing this also eliminates one of these two pawns which was blocking my bishop. So I think that makes a lot of sense. White can recapture with the knight or the bishop. I was going to say probably the best is to recapture with the knight, but it doesn't really do much. Although we always have to think, whenever they move a piece, what is it doing now? It is attacking these two squares. What was it doing previously? It was protecting those two squares. And if you always do that check, it's very difficult to make mistakes because you will see what your opponent is trying to do. Okay, this means that there might be some c5 push for white in the future. And this also means, of course, our knight is under attack. So I will just play, of course, over protection. My knight is already protected 3 times, but I will still play knight to d7 and protect it once more. And if you play like this, it is literally almost impossible to make mistakes. I think here we just have a simple move, which is to trade and then to activate our knight to f6. The reason why I do this is not because I like trading for no reason, but because this knight was pretty passive, and now basically we eliminated one of my opponent's best pieces, and I also was able to get my knight here to a better square. Okay, so I think we are actually starting to get to quite a good position, honestly. I mean, we are just slowly improving, everything is safe, and we don't allow any opportunity for ourselves to make a mistake. I don't see anything spectacular right here. Their bishop moved back, that's fine. Which probably means we have to go back to our other plan, which is always improving pieces. So when I talk about improving pieces, I am right now thinking about maybe playing, for example, rook to c8 or rook to e8, so we can activate our rooks as well. Because all of these pawns in the center, at some point they will start disappearing, they will start moving, and then it's better to have the rooks in place to activate on the open file. That's fine. White is also trying to develop, and I will play rook to e8. So very simple chess. I'm basically not doing anything spectacular. I am just improving my pieces. And I think now we have come to the point where we will have to do something, of course. We can't just wait the entire game. And I already have basically my rook in place, my queen in place, my bishop, my knight. And whenever you are looking for a plan and you don't really know what to do, the simplest thing is to do this. to just throw a bunch of arrows and to see where your pieces are pointing. And I think it's very obvious what we need to do. We basically need to do something in the center. Everything is pointing towards the center, so we will have to do something here. And I would love to do something that improves my pieces as well. Still, this bishop is a little bit stuck. It's sitting behind this pawn. It's not doing much. It would be much better if we could attack this knight and maybe this pawn, which we can do if we push this pawn to c5, which fits perfectly into our position because everything is protected. If they take, a bunch of things are going on, we can damage their structure actually, and now we can recapture here with both the bishop or with the rook. Of course, we need to calculate more than that. They might also push, in which case we can take, and as you can see, we have 3 pieces aiming at that pawn, so we would be winning a pawn there. So it's a very good move to play this push. Of course, they also didn't have to do something. I mean, they didn't have to take, but then we would be potentially taking here, plus the bishop also opened up. Okay, they take here. The good question is, what's the best plan? Well, I think we have to take here first. We can't miss this opportunity to damage their structure. That is quite important. And now we have to recapture. Yeah, I think honestly both the bishop and the queen are, bishop and the rook are fine. The only thing that I am thinking with the bishop is that we have to watch out here, but I think it is still fine. We would just be capturing this and activating the queen towards attack. Actually, we don't have any attacks, but still, we would be fine. So I think bishop makes sense. Okay, white is doubling up. Whenever they make a move, I always pause to see what they are doing. I don't want my queen to be facing off with a rook, so I think I will just move my queen. I could move it to c7, I think, to think about this, but I would be allowing them to damage my structure. So probably moving it to e7 makes a little bit more sense. Okay, and we can still protect the knight, because I don't want to remove any of my defensive pieces either. That's a bit of a strange move. I honestly don't know what's going on. Maybe they are trying to bait me, because this would be a terrible blunder. I would be losing material. So maybe they are trying to bait that move. I don't really know. I'm still thinking about improving my pieces, and I have to say that although I activated both of my rooks, I think they're both doing nothing. I mean, this is attacking my bishop and the pawn. This is also stuck. This one has a little bit of purpose, I think, because it might be attacking here in the future. This one is basically doing nothing. So this looks like a logical move. We just put the rook on the open file. We attack their bishop. We pin it to the queen as well. So it's getting more difficult for white to find good moves. I'm wondering if we can just try to double up the rook. But I think we are running into the same trap, because they can just sack and then they would be winning the rook. So it looks obvious that we could double, but I don't think we can. One other move that I was thinking about is maybe this move, but I think we always have to be so careful, because it's always basically the same stupid tactic that they have. If you think that you would personally have missed this type of tactic, I would say go and visit pegasuschess.com, where I have 3 different courses that basically teach you every single pattern and strategy you need to know, so that you don't blunder things like this in the future. But of course, you can also see that these types of moves are dangerous, because they would be capturing and then suddenly all of the pieces are lined up. So even though it looks like a logical or normal position, it's not so easy. I could also consider playing g6, which is a bit strange, but I think it eliminates all of these problems. But then I was thinking, what if they go here? Double threat, maybe I just move the knight and I am fine. Yeah, I think that would be fine. It's a bit of a strange move, but this basically eliminates any opportunity for myself to make a mistake in the future, and that is what I wanted. This queen is not a problem, because this square will always be protected by knight h5. That is what we calculated on the previous move. Okay, they are attacking my bishop, which I think is strange, since I can just grab the pawn, right? Yeah. And I'm now thinking, how can I get this queen out of my position? Because I don't want this queen to be there for too long. So something simple, like for example, queen to f8. I think we can play that. And all pieces are working together. The bishop can, of course, capture backwards. Okay, if they want to take, they can take, and we are basically fine. We are getting into some type of endgame here, and we are up a pawn. So that's perfect. I'm wondering if we can just play bishop here. I mean, we are just offering another trade, but yeah, this bishop is not doing much. Their bishop is a little bit annoying, so would be fine. I think we can just take that. The reason why I am trading so much right now is because we are already winning. As you can see, we have an extra pawn. That should be winning with best play. Um, there are a couple of plans. One, of course, is getting the rook in. I think that's very strong. I'm also looking at this check, but I don't know if it really does something. I think I will just have to go back eventually. So I am going to activate the rook. Rook to the 7th rank is usually the best thing you can do because you are attacking pawns from the side. You can also start attacking pawns from the back. But they are really trying to defend everything. I think I have to get my knight into the game somehow. Can we do something with the knight? Maybe knight here and then we go on a journey with the knight. I think that is the plan. I mean, I can also do the check, but I don't really see a big benefit from that. They might be entering the position, but right now my knight is stopping that, so I don't think we really have an issue. Getting my king here, they might give me this check, but I also don't think it matters. So I will activate my king. Because I want freedom for my knight. I basically want my knight to be able to do something. If my king prevents the rook from coming into all of these squares, then that means my knight is free to move wherever it wants. So I can move it here. And I was going to say e5 would have been the most beautiful square, but we will have to go for c5, which is of course also great. We can attack. But I have to say it's going to be a maneuvering endgame because it's not super easy right now to win this. I think one of the plans would be to trade rooks. For example, trying something like this, I think. Because trading rooks would put us in a minor piece endgame with an extra pawn. So I think that would be fine. Yeah, I think I can just go for this. Okay, if they don't take, I will take. Now we are in a minor piece endgame and we are up a pawn, which should be winning, but of course we still need to play this the right way. In an endgame, the most important thing is to activate your king towards the center. So that is what I am doing here. My king is basically in the center. These pawns are also split. They are a little bit weak, so I might be attacking those in the future. I'll have to see how I can get there. Maybe with the knight maneuver. I was thinking maybe the knight maneuver here. The good thing is also that my pawns here are on the dark squares. So yeah, basically they can't do much. I'm gonna play f5 first. Let's see what they do. Okay, they take. I was going to say if they take, it's gonna be very easy endgame because we can basically freeze up all of their pawns so they don't have a single legal move and they will be losing this endgame because we always have this, which gives away a tempo so we can enter with the king. And now this is going to be cleanup, basically. I think we can just go here and push. Let's see. They are, of course, playing the right defense because here, if I go with the check and they go here, well, I can go here. It's not going to be a stalemate, actually. Well, I think that's the funny move because now they are forced to play this. And they are forced to go for this move. And it's 1, 2, 3 for me to get a queen, 1, 2, 3 for them. But I will be there first, and it will be with a check and also with a threat. Oh, that's an interesting move. I actually didn't calculate that one. But it's fine, because we are promoting, and that will be the checkmate. So I hope this was a useful video for you. If you want to learn more, you should watch this video next.